Of 2019 Appropriation Bill. May I crave the kind indulgence of the House of Representatives to grant me the slot of 11 hours on Wednesday, 19 December 2018, to formally I take that again. Presentation of 2019 Appropriation Bill. May I crave the kind indulgence of the House of Representatives to grant me the slot of 11 hours on Wednesday, 19th December 2018, to formally present the 2019 Appropriation Bill to the joint session of the National Assembly. Please accept, Mr. Speaker, the assurances of my highest regards as I look forward to addressing the joint session. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, I want to say this from the chair that we only got this later in the morning. So any insinuation that the National Assembly is the institution preventing the executive from laying the budget is not true. I don't want to say it's a lie, but it's not true. Anybody is under the illusion that it's the National Assembly who has prevented the executive from laying the budget is just lying, plainly. That is the truth. This letter came this morning. Honorable Chika, your point.
I represent Shiroro Afumia Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under Order 6, Rule 14, issue of privilege. Mr. Speaker, you have read the letter from Mr. President. Mr. Speaker, my privilege has been breached and that of the members of this House by the Minister of Budget and National Planning. Mr. Speaker, you read that Mr. President is asking for Wednesday next week to come and present his budget. But however, Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the Minister of Budget and Planning went on air by saying that they are waiting for this House to give them a date when they will come and present the budget, portraying us as irresponsible people before Nigerian public. Mr. Speaker, we are responsible people doing our job. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say categorically, you have become diplomatic. The Minister of Budget and National Planning is a liar. We did not receive any communication to that effect until today you are reading. Mr. Speaker, the world should know that even the Federal Executive Council approved the budget in an emergency session last week, Friday. So when did they write us? Now, this is how people portray us as crooks, people portray us as criminals, people portray us as irresponsible people before the Nigerian public. We are not. We came here with our integrity. Some of us are teachers, and my student will look at me in this chamber as an irresponsible person. It's a disgrace to me and my family. I have never been an irresponsible person, but somebody will call me an irresponsible person that I did not do my job. I cannot take it, Mr. Speaker. He needs to come and apologize before the floor of this House, before Mr. President come and take his budget, because I cannot take it. Mr. Speaker, I have integrity, and nobody should damage my integrity before my family, before Nigerians, and before my student. I'm always proud of my student, but this should not happen to me. Mr. Speaker, I feel disgraced. I feel touched. Mr. Speaker, I feel crazy for somebody to call me that way, and I cannot take it any longer. And I wish, Mr. Speaker, you will give Bashir Babale the opportunity to speak. He is overseeing him. He will tell you, I'm a member of that committee. He has never in his life appeared before us. Throughout this year, we can produce so many letters inviting him to defend the performance of his budget. He never showed up. And this is somebody who disgrace us before Nigerian public. It's not acceptable, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my dear colleagues. I would like to stop here.
Important that we all agree as one family here. We read in the paper, we need to investigate. we need to call him here, the Honorable Minister for Budget, to come and clarify. Because when you move round, you see that people are attacking us from here and there. But this is what we read in the paper. We need to ascertain that truly he says so. And if it is true that he said that, we need to take action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Bila.
I will not be as economical with words like you were. The Minister of Budget and Planning, somebody we used to consider as an astute gentleman, lied. It was on TV, it was not just in the papers. So with all due respect to my colleague, it's not something we need to investigate any further. It's a statement that he made categorically. And he lied against this very honorable House. I want to join with my colleagues to request, without equivocation, a formal apology from the minister publicly again on television, because some of us will refuse to attend that budget session with Mr. President if he does not. If he does not, it will be an empty house here. If Mr. President does not ask him to apologize formally to this very august and responsible institution. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I represent the irrepressible people of Okitukupa, Irole Federal Constituency. I'm from Ondo State. Mr. Speaker, it is no longer a hidden fact that the executive arm of government has always portrayed the parliament in bad light. Today, like the first speaker spoke, everywhere we go, it is like people saying, see the thieves coming. Some of them even refer to us with odd names, legislators or whatever. All these are derived from the way the executive arm of government over time have presented the legislative arm of government. They create the impression in public parlance as if we are the one who have been delaying the budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They create the intention as if we are the one who have been taking the junk amount and junk expenditures of federal government of Nigeria, irrespective of the sacrifices, particularly the 8th Assembly, that we have made to make sure that this government of this country is run smoothly. Mr. Chairman, I want to say that this is an opportunity of a lifetime for this 8th Assembly and indeed the Nigerian Parliament to create the impression before Nigerian public that the executive arm have been deceiving them, that the executive arm have been lying against us. We are not going to remain here and get insulted. Some of us have tomorrow behind us. Some of us have other things that we intend to do in life after our legislative roles. Our children are watching us. Our colleagues, our brothers, our professional colleagues are watching us. Some of us are members of professional bodies, and they listen, they watch us, they ask us questions. The minister must come and apologize. If not, I support, and I believe that majority of this House will support the amendment made to this motion by Honorable Mark, that the President, will be coming to this House to meet an empty House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Donate. But Mr. Speaker, from what I'm hearing, it's like a determination of guilt has already been passed. The information I have, Mr. Speaker, is that this morning, and we're all aware that we've brought up motions on this floor of this House, we've brought papers, we've showed the whole world where members of the House have been misquoted and our privileges were breached. Several times members have brought this up on the floor. The Minister of Budget and Planning called me this morning. He was alarmed, he was upset, he was shocked. He said he's just reading something in the papers ascribed. He said he's just reading something in the papers that was ascribed to him, that he said such and such and such a thing. And he said to me, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, he said he never said such a thing, and that he is writing a rejoinder right now as we spoke. that he is writing a rejoinder denying any such thing. Now, if he has said that, and we're here in the chambers, we haven't read his rejoinder because we're in chambers, I think we should tarry a while. Rather than, and then I don't know if Honorable Wele, if Honorable can tell us the television channel, the program, because we're accusing somebody of lying. If he can tell us the TV channel, the program where he said he saw him, because I've asked around, nobody else except him seems to have seen him on TV. So I think it's important. It's an issue. It's an issue that I have given you information. We cannot, let us not turn this house into a partisan house. Let us address the issue. The man has said he did not do it. He did not do it, and he did not do it. He has given me that, and I have conveyed that message to the house. I have conveyed his message to the house. I have conveyed his message to the house that he did not do any such thing. Thank you. Let us move on with the business of the day.
Well, the assembly. So there's no partisan issue here at all. It's about National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, one house. Oh. One house.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, now he's on the other side. Agreed with the presentation of Honorable Chika. I am the one oversighting his ministry. And going by the communication between my committee and the ministry, my assumption as of today, the minister and his permanent secretary are not even in town, because we're supposed to have a meeting with them on Tuesday, which they have written to us that they won't be available till next year. Agreed. Yes, whenever myself, I read it yesterday through this online media, which I'm sure many of us, the sources of our information are those online media. There are every reason for us to raise eyebrow when someone went on air and said that they presented a letter to us. It is the National Assembly prostrating the executive from presenting the 2019 appropriation bill. Mr. Speaker, we are a reasonable house. We stand to gain nothing if we stop Mr. President from presenting the budget of 2019. In the last 3-4 years, whenever there are issues, the general public feel like we are the one truncating the achievement of this government. Now we raise our case. Chika and many others raise their case. It's a matter of privilege. Some members are saying that the minister said so, so, and so. And the leader of the House, who is also part of us, stood and tell us that he had a phone call with the minister, and he assured him that he didn't make such assertion. And right now, he's writing rejoinder to disassociate himself from that. Now, since it is an issue of privilege, he has every right as a Nigerian to be heard. We should allow the minister to make the rejoinder. Either he made or he didn't. And from there, we can take it up if our privileges are tampered with. But I think there's nothing to benefit from if we stop Mr. President from presenting the budget. We will only add to the hardship of Nigerians. Let's separate Mr. President from the minister. Now we raise a privilege issue. Let's summon the minister. Let's hear from him. And let's summon the media so that we can even put a pause to all this kind of allegation if we find it to be an allegation. That is my take, Mr. Speaker.